welcome to another video. My name is Lainey, my pronouns are they, them, and today we are going on an adventure, a wig styling adventure. We are trying to make a cosplay wig head that is accurate to our head size. So when you style wigs, it's more accurate, I guess, and it'll look better on you. I'm not really sure, but I saw a bunch of people doing this on the internet and it looked kind of fun, and I, have never properly styled a wig. I went on a 6-year hiatus basically from cosplaying, and I was like, I want to get back into this. I love this, and everything has changed. Gone are the days of just taking a wig out of a bag from eBay and putting it on your head and, cutting the bangs bluntly with fabric scissors. And in are the days of whatever the heck crimping is and owning a wig head. So I figured if I am going to start cosplaying, I want to go hard. I want to actually give it a shot and give it my all. And that meant trying to style my first ever wig. But in order to do that, I needed to make a wig head that actually was my wig head size. When I ordered a wig head, I realized it was kind of tiny. So I was like, okay, I watched a bunch of videos on TikTok and YouTube and all the fun places, and they all did this weird technique-y thing where you make the wig head accurate to your size. And I was like, okay, that looks hilarious and fun, and I'm sure I have a weird size head, so might as well give it a try and do my best. So here we are. The first step of this process is literally to saran wrap your head. Now I've saran wrapped body parts for several occasions. For example, when I made my Mute Ichigo cosplay, I had to body wrap my mannequin so I could draft the corset pattern. But this was definitely a first for me. Saran wrapping my head was a first for me. And every time I looked in the viewfinder in the camera, I started to laugh at myself because I look like an egg. Not even like a cute, hee egg. Like a bald gremlin egg. This is so goofy. I'm literally watching this back and I'm like, what the F are you doing? You look ridiculous. But something else I wanted to do when I saran wrap was cover my eyebrows, so I could draw my eyebrows on and my hairline. And you'll see too that I tape over where my eyebrows are. But that is the next step. Once you saran wrap your entire head, you are supposed to take duct tape. That's right, duct tape all over your head where the saran wrap is. The saran wrap basically is that layer. It's like primer, I would say. You don't want to stick actual duct tape to your hair, obviously. I hope that's obvious. So you put the saran wrap down as that base layer, and then you go in with the duct tape. The duct tape is actually going to hold its shape. Saran wrap will not. I will say, oh my god, saran wrapping took so long, ripping those tape pieces and trying to figure out where to put them, especially on the back of my head, took absolutely forever. And I could not tell if I had any gaps or anything. I was just kind of going for it. The texture of the saran wrap and the duct tape was too close for me to be able to tell what the difference was. So I was just kind of praying that, I got everything covered. And yeah, if I did this again, I would definitely do that mirror trick where you have a mirror behind you and a mirror in front of you and you can see the back of your head through the mirrors. You know what I'm talking about. I know you know. But this was so hard. Or the next time I do this, I will definitely ask a friend for help, or my mom for help, and my dad for help, or my cat for help. But I don't know if I will actually ask anybody for help because this was so goofy looking. I looked so goofy. Something else I did while doing this too was covering the sideburns and my eyebrows. So speaking of, this is about the time that I realized that I actually didn't have enough saran wrap over my eyebrows, and I didn't know what to do. I didn't want to cut more saran wrap because I hate saran wrap, so I'm so sorry. I took the plastic from my packing tape or masking tape, whatever this is called, and I taped that down. because I'm lazy, and that's what you're watching here is me trying not to laugh as I look in the viewfinder, taping down this like packing tape packaging and duct tape to try to cover my eyebrows so I can draw them back on. Anyways, folks, when you do this for yourself, if you do this for yourself, make sure that you actually cover your eyebrows with saran wrap so you don't do the same mistakes that I did, because otherwise you're just gonna end up looking so silly and just so goofy. Now we're on to the fun part. Once you have fully masking taped your entire head, I took a Sharpie and I tried to outline where my eyebrows and my hairline and my ears and everything were. And this does look really goofy, and I won't lie to you, this is so much harder than it seems. When you duct tape everything down, it really flattens everything on your head, and you can't really feel where your ears or your hairline are anymore. So it took me many guesses to try to figure out where my ears and my hairline were. Which is kind of, I feel like you should know that about yourself. You've looked in the mirror enough times to understand where those are. But I was just kind of guessing and hoping for the best. And I think I did a pretty good job. This is me checking myself out and verifying, and you can see too it's hard to get a straight line because the duct tape is so uneven. So I did a bunch of little lines, and then I think I fixed it up later on the actual wig head. I don't actually remember if I did that or not, but if this looks awful, don't be hard on yourself. This was so hard. This was not the hardest part of the process, but this was honestly really difficult to do. Now it's time for the most satisfying part, which is trying to take this off of your head. I went very slowly with it, and it did get stuck in my hair, so I missed a part with saran wrap. So just be extra careful that it doesn't get stuck in your hair and pull out your eyebrows or your sideburns or anything. But yeah, and oh, I missed a spot. We don't talk about that. We don't talk about Bruno. That's an old movie, I guess now. Anyways, now is time for putting it on the wig head. This was actually really hard because I was not totally sure how to fit it on. It was a very tight fit, and I couldn't understand why, because my head is obviously a lot bigger than this very small wig head. So it took me a couple tries to get it on. And then it was crap, what do I do? Because my face is also wider than the wig head, so how do I get this to fit? So my brain was let's start with what we know. We drew on the hairline and the eyebrows. So I took some sewing pins and I pinned them when I had the eyebrows lined up, and I took another piece of tape as well, and I used that tape between the eyebrows on the bridge of your nose to kind of keep it in place. So I basically used the eyebrows that I drew on, and I lined them up with the wig head eyebrows, and then I pinned everything from there. And now it's time for the hardest part of this entire process. Everybody in the tutorials made this look so easy, and this is where I failed over and over again. It took me so long, and that was stuffing it. I literally could not get batting, I could not get fabric scraps, I could not get stuffing or tulle, anything into this head, and I ended up literally cutting the back of it open so I could get fabric in there. And you can see too, I cut the fabric into way smaller pieces. Even after this, I started cutting them into teeny tiny pieces and shoving them in with a pencil one by one. And it took me forever to fill this wig head out. And once I got everything kind of filled in and I was happy with it, well, more accurately, once I got one section filled in, I would tape that section down in place and pin it in place, and then I would move on to stuffing the next section. The hardest part was trying to tape up the back of it again because I accidentally overstuffed it and then I couldn't get it to close. Which is definitely my fault. And watching more videos on this after I did this, a lot of people actually measured the distance with a tape measure from their hairline to the nape of their neck, and I should have done that here because they would measure it on themselves and then measure it on their wig head, and so they'd like know how much to add or subtract out of like the stuffing, and that was so smart, but I didn't even think of that. But yeah, once you tape up the back of it, this is what he looks like. Very beautiful. Hopefully oh my god, I gave him a kiss. I was delirious at this point. I'm so sorry you had to witness that. I'm leaving that in though for your enjoyment. What was I even saying? But anyways, that's everything I did. Oh my god, what? I'm ridiculous. Why did I do this? This is the wig that I wanted to style on the wig head, and I literally matched up the hairlines on the wig and just pinned it in place. And that's everything. So if you enjoyed this video, subscribe for more maybe. Sorry, that kiss at the end really threw me off. I know this was at like 2 in the morning, but dang, I did not realize I was that delirious. Okay, bye!